As far as buzzy new restaurants go, this newly opened buffet spot in Ayala Mall's Manila Bay is getting a lot of attention, and with good reason. The place, with a distinctive @ symbol on the logo, presents itself as a luxury, all-you-can-eat experience that rivals what 5-star hotels in the metro offer. For today's buffet tour, we went big and made a reservation for dinner on Friday night, which is their seafood night. These are the rates, and you'll notice that there's a regular rate and a membership rate, and we'll get into that later. Once inside, it does kind of make you forget that you're in a mall and you get transported into a hotel-esque setting, what with the enormous space and grand interiors that look like they spared no expense decorating. The first buffet table you'll encounter as you enter is the round appetizer table in the center that will clue you in on what cuisine the place specializes in. Yep, it's a spread of Chinese appetizers, the likes of which are often served in banquets, starting with these cold-cut platter staples of jellyfish and various marinated meats and vegetables. As the tour progresses, I'll be sharing tips and tricks along the way, like for example, the dinner service on a Friday starts at 6 p.m. We were told upon reservation that they would hold the table for 30 minutes. We got there a little earlier and at first planned on exploring the mall, but saw that there were a lot of diners already seated inside and lining up at the buffet, so we just decided to start on the dot. I don't know if it's because they allow early seating or if it gets especially crowded for seafood night, but the earlier you start, the better. This golden taro cake isn't what I expected. At first, I thought it was a version of a savory taro puff, but the crispy strings actually contain a taro paste that's as sweet as buchi filling, so it tastes more like a dessert. But the black swan radish puffs contain chopped up radish cake filling. It's a different texture to an old favorite. We finished this table with Hainanese chicken that comes with its traditional 3 dips of soy sauce, chili, and crushed ginger. From the round appetizer table, let's check out the long table of assorted Asian dishes. This first part is still Chinese-centric, but this later progresses into Southeast Asian delights. In case you want to know more about the ambiance, the temperature of the restaurant is pleasant. While the mall air conditioning would be considered chilly, this dining room had just the right temperature. It didn't feel stuffy either. There are soothing piano tracks playing in the background, and we didn't spot any performing waitstaff for celebrants, so it didn't get loud or rowdy. The scallop over mashed potatoes were such a hit with the diners that the serving tray was often empty, so this is what it looks like. It's a big piece of scallop that's properly cooked, so it's tender and not at all rubbery. This is where the dishes get more traditional Chinese rather than popular Chinese. This fish with pickled vegetable dish is flavorful but remains delicate with its lightly sour broth. Very subtle, no lip-puckering asim like you would perhaps experience with sinigang. I thought that the raw blood curd soup would be like a much more intense version of dinuguan from the looks of it, but this is a completely different thing altogether. Perhaps things got lost in translation because I tried searching more about it, and what comes up on Google that looks similar is something called spicy duck blood or Chongqing style boiled blood curd, where the blood is certainly not raw, but rather sliced from its curdled cube form, like with the street food Betamax, into thinner sticks before getting boiled in with the rest of the soup. All this to say, this soup doesn't actually have a lot of heat to it, but more of the aromatic and flavorful Szechuan peppercorn, and the thin slices of meat in there are super soft. Other dishes I got to try from this table are the beef rendang, where the beef cubes have become more tender from the long cooking process, as well as the mutton curry that takes on a more shredded meat texture. Lamb shows up in several dishes in this buffet, and I'm a fan of that. A lot of the other popular buffet restaurants only offer a very limited quantity of lamb on each service, so I do feel that this adds value to the place's offerings, aside from the much promoted seafood theme. If you're liking this video so far, please subscribe to this channel and comment to suggest places you'd like for us to visit next. From here, we'll head to the next round table with the garde-manger, or the western counterpart of the cold appetizer station. This section also contains some pastries, charcuterie, fruits, and salads, both mixed and do-it-yourself stations. But there are still other pastries to be found in the separate dessert section. From what we've seen so far, I've already started to notice at this point some clues or patterns as to what mother company or restaurant group is behind this new venture. I was also able to confirm this later on with one of the staff members. But to make it fun, let's see if you, dear viewers, can also guess just by watching the rest of this buffet tour where more patterns are going to emerge as we take a look at the rest of the buffet tables. I'll give the answer towards the end of this video, so stay tuned. Let's talk about pricing. As mentioned earlier, there is a regular rate and a lower membership rate. But as an opening promotion, all diners can avail of the membership rate for a limited period. This was supposed to be just for August, but they've extended it to September. And for those who are wondering if they can use senior citizen or PWD discount, I was told that the current promotional membership rate offers a more significant discount. The concept of a membership dining deal isn't one I've encountered much of before. And you're more likely to be offered this at a hotel where memberships include room discounts and upgrades as well as dining vouchers or special promotions. Well, in the case of the Place Deluxe Buffet, you can purchase a 1-year membership for 8,800 pesos. This is a transferable membership that allows the user to pay those preferential membership prices. Added perks include a total of 4 vouchers. The first 2 vouchers can be used to redeem a whole buffet meal, meaning you can just go by yourself and dine there twice, while the other 2 vouchers are for 5+1 deals. Do note that this is early days and the place is still adjusting the pricing, menu, and membership benefits as they go along, so I would recommend you give them a call to double check any revisions to those details before making your reservation. In our case, we saw the prices for their seafood night buffet last month and made a reservation for this meal, only to find out that there was a price increase that started on our reservation date. So like I said, double check to avoid bill shock. We are now making our way back to the buffet table closest to the entrance. This was the most congested area because of the line that leads to the highest value buffet items, seafood included. This section starts off with dim sum and noodles. You've probably noticed a couple of empty serving plates, so it's time to touch on their rate of refill. I would say that the place has good pacing when it comes to replenishing dishes. It isn't that they take a long time to do it, it just so happens that there are a lot of people who specifically choose to wait in line for the high-value items. In short, nakaabang talaga sila. So if you're not constantly checking back, you might think that they're slow to refill. Special mention goes to this Chongqing style barbecue. Over a decade ago on a trip to China, I was able to eat some street food and this type of barbecue stood out for the delicious spice blend coating the meat na malasa pero hindi masyado maanghang. Well, this was a blast from the past. And my preferred skewer was, of course, lamb. Impressively, there is a Peking duck station where you can have it two ways. Either sliced as is or wrapped with some hoisin sauce and vegetables. The wraps are fresh as the station cook is constantly making them. But you can specifically request for them to make new wraps containing the part of the duck that you prefer. Most of the time, the filling is a delicious, albeit fatty skin, so if you would rather get a wrap with lean meat, they will accommodate your request. This is kind of interesting to watch while you're waiting in line. It's kind of the same feeling when watching how crepes are made. From the Peking duck station, this is where the wait time gets a bit longer as we're nearing the seafood area. Here's a closer look at the lechon. This appears to be oven roasted, so the taste is not quite the same as the traditional spit roasted kind. But if you're not super specific about how the pork is roasted, then this is enough to satisfy the craving. You'll notice that the serving platters for the high-value seafood dishes are turned around so that it's an assisted service setup. Though there's plenty of seafood to go around, this is a practical way to ensure that more diners get to try the dishes here. The steamed grouper or lapu-lapu is another banquet staple dish to get excited about because the fish is huge and they actually give out a decent serving size, as you can see here. If you're craving legit Chinese-style soups that have those tonic-like clear broth bases, don't miss this. The double-boiled chicken and abalone soup actually does contain a small piece of abalone. For the fried crab, they used alimasag that are moderately sized. And now we approach the lobster platter, and I know this looks anticlimactic, but they did have some on the platter when we entered. It was crowded, so I wasn't able to get footage of that, but it soon turned into a pre-order situation where they just delivered it cooked to the table along with other seafood paluto orders. I'll show you what it looks like in a bit. In all fairness, what you see is what you get with the paluto. What comes to the table is just as big and just as fresh as what you see here. There's a choice between steamed and butter garlic sauce, and we went for plain steamed. As promised, here's what our table of 5 enjoyed from the seafood section. We ordered some tenderloin steak as well, so we kind of had a surf and turf thing going on. To show you how big the half serving of lobster is, o ayan, dinangkal ko na. Since it was still kind of cramped in that part of the buffet, I decided to just move all the way to the other end of the stations and go in reverse order. So here we are at the table for Japanese sashimi and sushi. The sliced taco or octopus looked fresh and enticing from the display case, so of course I wanted to try. But fair warning that this is tough, and by that I mean rubbery. I probably stick with baby octopus or squid next time. What I did enjoy immensely was the soft shell crab tempura. Ebi tempura is a common sight in an international buffet, but soft shell crab is a rarity. The last time I had soft-shell crab was years ago, and the buffet was along EDSA and has since closed down the branch I went to. Come to think of it, since most of the diners were enjoying the prawns from the Paluto section, there was no line for the ebi tempura, unlike with other buffets. What follows is the meat and grilling station. At this point, we've seen quite a lot of dishes, and I honestly don't think it would be possible to try all the offerings here in just one meal. I say that because I'm a little bitter that I didn't get to try the pasta that's been tossed in the parmesan wheel. And editing this vlog made me realize that there are definitely other dishes I'd like to prioritize the next time I visit. What I did get to try from this section was the roast leg of lamb, and you can see from the display that they're not holding out on the customers. Onto the meat bar, and it's another paluto where you can select from ribeye, lamb chop, pork steak, and beef ribs. Waiting time is 15 minutes, and you can indicate what doneness you'd like. Behind that is the last long table for the savory section. This is where you'll find Western snacks and appetizers like croquettes, mini pizzas, and DIY nachos. I ended up grabbing the fried mozzarella cheese sticks here, and I suggest topping them with some of that mango tomato salsa for a winning combination. There's also a continuation of the Japanese section here. I got to try the halibut, and the way they make it here is lightly battered and fried with some teriyaki sauce. Personally, I think they could skip any batter or breading and instead grill or pan fry for a more wholesome flavor to pair with the teriyaki sauce. We now proceed to the beverage section. You can grab a glass from that cabinet over there. The dispensers contain cucumber lemonade, strawberry iced tea, lemon iced tea, blue lemonade, lemon water, and regular water. The chiller next to this has various canned drinks like sodas, juices, and even beer. They've also got some wine, but this is just the chilling area. The wine is actually served tableside by a roving server with a cart and some wine glasses, and you can get this at no added cost. On that day, there was a rosé, a Cabernet Sauvignon, and a Chenin Blanc. I only got to try the rosé and white wine, and I actually prefer the rosé, though I only asked for a small amount as I wanted to try other drinks. Back to the buffet. They offer fruit shakes in pitchers and drinks with sinkers like fruit teas and milk teas. There's also a high-tech coffee setup you can see over in the back, and I would say that the coffee beans used are the standard restaurant quality rather than the third wave type. Not bad, nothing too bitter. The Halo Halo station is also here because this is where the ice shaving machine is located. In buffets, you don't tend to interact with the servers like you would in a plated meal, but I do want to say that the service here is excellent. The staff are friendly and they make the effort to answer all your questions, or they'll call someone over who has the answers. We requested for more wine and a seafood cracking utensil and they didn't forget. So, the question at the beginning of this tour, were you able to guess what restaurant company is behind the Place Deluxe Buffet? The answer is Buffet 101. The biggest clues to me were the selection at the meat station, the Chinese food heavy menu, and those plastic cups they used for the fruit and milk teas. To call the place a deluxe buffet is justifiable because it's like having the core menu of Buffet 101, but then they add a lot of other cuisines and premium items. I would say the place has at least twice the size of Buffet 101's selection. With Buffet 101, I'm able to try almost the entire menu in one visit, whereas it would probably take me 2 to 3 visits to sufficiently sample everything in the place. I didn't get to try a lot of the baked desserts, save for the brownies and the Basque burnt cheesecake. Both are must-tries, by the way. The brownies come with different toppings, but it's actually the same chocolate brownie base for everything. What I did get to try was their gelato, and the available flavors on that day were vanilla beans, ube with white chocolate, chocolate, Kyoto matcha, mint chocolate, Guimaras mango, strawberry, peanut butter crunch, and calamansi. My top picks for this were the peanut butter crunch, matcha, and calamansi. Calamansi in particular captures the fruit's flavor well, and that tart, fragrant citrus is an excellent palate cleanser. Aside from the good service mentioned earlier, the cleanliness of the restaurant has so far been maintained. No slippery floors, and the silverware doesn't look greasy. They have these elegant gold-rimmed plates. I'm a little wary of how those will age in the long run, but they certainly lend to the luxurious overall feel. We've seen the buffet, and now it's time to have a look at the rest of the restaurant. The way the place was constructed makes it look like you're in a hotel dining room. These floor-to-ceiling windows that show the view outside the mall are curtained to maintain the ambiance inside. If you are a big group that's planning on dining here, there are function rooms of various sizes that you can request for at no extra charge, but you do have to reserve them in advance. The function rooms are named after countries, and this is the Germany room that can accommodate a party of 7 to 10. The Finland room has the same capacity and can fit a maximum of 10 people. There are more function rooms near the entrance. The Italy room is a bit bigger and can seat up to 28 people. There is another function room in the back, which I think is their biggest one. I was able to capture the restaurant near closing, so I'll lead you back in there and you can have a look. This is the Australia room. I didn't get to ask about the capacity, but just take a look at how many tables it can fit. And if you're feeling curious about what else we ate, here's a quick look. Please subscribe for more content like this.